Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. So a little while back I showed you guys some more recent dino scores, and someone had requested that I review the Playmates Kong and V-Rex figures, so here we are. Now I know that these figures actually came with quite a bit of extras included in the packaging. I don't have any of those, and considering that this film was made very long ago, like 2005 probably, so it's been out for a long time, and it's not surprising that I was not able to acquire the extras with these figures, but I'm impressed overall at the fact that these are in fairly decent shape. The Kong a little more beat up than the V-Rex, but for the most part they look fairly well kept, which is a plus, and I definitely like them quite a bit. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at these two right now. So we will start with the Kong, and you can see that the head sculpt of Kong is actually really beautifully done. Lots of really nice fur detail all over the head sculpt. You can also see the ear there, and you can see kind of some wounds that Kong has suffered here, I guess at the hands of our V-Rex friend or one of the other wonderful enemies that are on Skull Island, but you can see that this side of the head also has some really nice sculpt work, so I definitely am quite impressed overall with the very nice detailing on this Kong figure. You can see the eyes are painted in there, but they're very small, very hard to get in and see. The nostrils are sculpted out quite nicely, and the teeth are painted fairly well, but you can see some paint has been scuffed off a little bit there, but I think originally they probably looked really, really nice. As you move down into the body, you can see some of the musculature of our Kong, and again, some more wounds here and there, some more nice fur detail on our Kong. Again, some more wounds, and this one actually is sculpted in, as some of them aren't. Some of them are just kind of paint put on the figure, similar actually to like the battle damage that you see occasionally from the Mattel Jurassic World line, but some of them are actually sculpted in, which is nice to see. I would have preferred them all to be sculpted in. We have some more wounds up here that are just kind of paint on the figure, but you can see some really nice fur detail as you lead down this very large, very immense arm of our Kong down into the hands. The hands look really nice, very nice detailing. Even the knuckles and everything are detailed. You've got some nicely sculpted out nails. The hand, the palm area looks really good as well, as does the detailing here on the underside. Nice girth on our Kong like you would expect to see. This arm as well is sculpted just as beautifully as the other side was. The hand, again, fantastic. Really nice detailing there in the fingers of our Kong, and the fur detail is just absolutely awesome. It's all over the place. It's not quite as nice as what you're going to see probably on the upcoming Rebor Kong figure, or Rebor Mountain Gorilla, whatever you want to call it, but it still looks really good. Again, you can see another kind of wound right there that is actually sculpted out, so I really do like that some of them are sculpted out. The detailing here on the back of Kong also really nicely done as far as the fur detailing and even just the body shape. You can really see the beautiful body shape of our Kong throughout. This Kong is very, very beat up. You can see again some more injuries all over our Kong as we lead down into the legs. You can see that the fur detail continues to look really nice. Again, many more wounds all over our Kong. He is very beat up. And the sculpting of the feet also looks really nice. The detailing here, even on the underside, is fairly decently well done. So, quite beautiful Kong, honestly, overall. I definitely really like the figure. And oddly enough, mine actually has like a dry brushing over it. And I don't know if all of them have had that, because I've seen a few images of some other people that had this figure, and it doesn't have that dry brushing on it. So I don't know if this is something that was originally on the figure, or if something that somebody put on the figure. I have no idea, but maybe you guys can let me know if maybe that is something that was on some of them. And then we have the V-Rex here. And overall, it's a decent looking figure, not the best. You can see the eyes are actually painted really, really nicely. Impressively well done as far as the painting of the eyes go. And I actually, even though this kind of looks like a jumbled mess sort of here in the mouth area, I actually think it looks fairly nice. And for the most part, it's got a fairly realistic looking color as far as the teeth goes. Kind of gives it that very dirty and gritty type of a look as far as this V-Rex goes. You got some decent paint on the inside of the mouth as well. And the jaw is articulated, and I don't know if that's actually just to insinuate that the dinosaur is roaring. Someone had told me in the comments section that it's actually so that Kong can break the jaw of the Rex, similar to what he does in the film. And that may or may not be true. Again, I don't know, but that sounds correct to me, so I'm going to go with that. Nice detailing on the Rex, though. It really does look beautiful as far as the sculpt goes. Nice detailing up here on the top of the head, and even the fine detailing here of the face. You've got some really nice kind of soft scaling all over the side of the face and the lower jaw of the V-Rex, so it does look really good. As you start to move down the neck, you can see some really nice detailing as far as the scale work goes, that kind of armored sort of scaling that you see on the V-Rex. You can also almost make out some kind of tensing there in the neck a little bit. Once you come down here into the arms, you can see the arms are decent. They're not anything special, but they look pretty nice for the most part. You can see a strong seam there, though, where the arm connects to the figure, and that's probably because it's articulated a little bit but doesn't move very well. You can also see some fairly nice detailing here on the underside of the figure. You can pick out the rib cage there a little bit on our V-Rex coming up here into the body. Again, really nice detailing. That nice scale work that runs along the spinal column really does look quite beautiful. And you have those very large scales that are reminiscent of the V-Rex running down the thigh into the calf, and then that very nice, beautiful looking V-Rex foot. I really do quite like that a lot. And then we lead back here into the tail, and the tail does transition from being a plastic to kind of a real feel. So you can move it now. It doesn't really bend or anything any specific way, but at least you can move the tail, which is nice to see. And the detail continues to look really beautiful as you lead out the length of the tail. If we look at this side, you can see again the really nice scale work as we run down the neck down into the body. You can't really pick up on the ribcage too well here, but you can see it a little bit. But for the most part, I think it looks pretty nice as far as the detailing goes. Beautiful sculpt on the underside. Again, this leg and everything looks really good over here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like there's any specific paint to the nails. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, kind of, but it's not really any difference in color than the rest of the body for the most part. They didn't paint the dew claws, but that's not very surprising. But overall, again, really nice looking V-Rex, and I definitely love V-Rex. I'm a huge fan of this film, so I really do like this figure and this style of a Rex. So if it weren't for the Rebor version, this would probably be one of the best V-Rex figures that I have in my collection. As far as articulation goes, on Kong, you have shoulder articulation there. You also have elbow articulation, and that's the same on both arms. And the arms are on a swivel, so you can't swivel them. And then again, the elbow as well. You also have articulation in the neck that can swivel. You have articulation here in the hip as well. And that's where the articulation stops. But you do have an action feature that will move the arms like this. Again, in whatever position you would like them to be in. So you can put his arms up like this, and he can pretend like he's flexing, or he's going to throw a dinosaur, or whatever you would like him to do. Now that I have his arms up like that, though, he's probably not going to want to stand too well. There, he's standing. As far as the V-Rex goes, we again, like I stated, have the articulation of the jaw, and that is potentially for Kong to break his jaw. We have articulation in the arms, but it's very, very stiff. Doesn't really work, especially on this side. It works a little on the left side, but the right side not so much. And then the legs also have articulation, so you can move the legs, both legs, and then you have a bendable tail, which is also really cool to see, a real feel type of a tail. As far as the size goes, for Kong, the only real size we're probably going to want to see is a height, and you're looking at about the 6-inch range, or around 15 centimeters for a height. As far as the V-Rex goes, for a length, we're not going to stretch the tail out, so just from this point here, you're looking at about the 6-inch range, or about 15 centimeters again, or about 3 3/4 inches, or around 9.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, here is Mr. Papo Rex with his best friend King Kong, as well as the Attack Pack Colovosaurus and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line. Hopefully giving you a good idea of the size of these figures, definitely showing you that Kong is quite large. He's not huge, but he's definitely got some pretty decent size to him. The V-Rex is a good bit smaller and clearly not to scale with the Kong, but also sports some decent size. It's just not really too sizable as far as figures go, but it's not too small either. Regardless, still really, really awesome figures. So these Playmates, Kong, and V-Rex figures are really nice, especially for their time. I kind of wish I would have picked them up way back when this film was released, but I wasn't really collecting figures too much back then. So I did end up skipping on these, which is definitely unfortunate now, because I would love to have both of these figures still in package with all the fancy extras that came with it. That would be really, really cool, but unfortunately they are quite hard to find nowadays, especially in package. But even just these figures in general tend to be a little pricey from time to time. Again, being 15 years old, it's kind of to be expected. But I think that the Kong is really quite nicely done. Beautiful detailing all over the figure, and I love the addition of kind of the wounds all over the place, something that I think kids would really have liked back when this figure was released, kind of giving you that idea that the V-Rex has definitely done some damage to the Kong, or whatever other animals that they had released at that time had done some damage to the Kong, making your Kong look super tough because your Kong has sustained such a beating but still managed to be there and going strong. But then overall, again, I really do think that it's a very nice looking rendition of Kong. For the most part, for the time it was made, it's definitely not bad. I don't know, again, if this dry brushing is limited to mine or if it was on others. I have no idea, so I am looking to you guys to let me know in the comments section if you happen to know what the story is with this dry brushing on mine. The V-Rex as well is quite nice. The paint application is really nicely done, looks very natural on the figure as far as the way it's applied, and matches up pretty well to the actual V-Rex from the film, so they did do a good job in pretty much every aspect, honestly, as far as that figure goes for its time. I really do quite like the playability factor to it, aside from the fact that the articulation isn't really that smooth in the arms and legs. The legs are alright, but the arms are really stiff, and I do like the pose on the V-Rex and everything. It's very cool as far as the displayability factor goes, to kind of have it with its tail in sort of an action pose, even though I don't quite think a dinosaur could articulate its tail quite like that. But regardless, still really cool figures, nice playability to them, nice overall displayability to them, both fantastic additions to any collection. Whether you're a dinosaur collector or a Kong collector, they are very cool regardless. So make sure if you want these, you search them out on eBay. I will try to find a link to them, but I can't guarantee I will. But regardless, if you ever do come across them, make sure you pick them up because they are really cool figures. And also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.